Let me see if anybody's on here tonight. Let me see who is here tonight with me. Let me see who's here. Let me see who's here. Hello, good night. I hope I'm able to see comments tonight. Good night, night, night. Good night, folks. How is everybody doing? It's another week starting today, and September is flying fast. September is my month, eh? Let me just tell you guys, September is my month. My birthday is next week, Thursday. So anytime September arrives, I'm all in my energy, all in my energy. So how is everybody tonight? How is everybody tonight? I just, I was in two minds about doing a live tonight. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood. Sometimes I just want to just relax on a Sunday afternoon. But I say, you know what? Let me just bring something positive. It's the beginning of the week, and we all are looking forward to the week ahead for one reason or the other. Some of us, we have a lot on our plate, like myself. We have a lot going on, and we just want to just get it over with. But don't rush life. One of the things that I have realized is that you cannot rush life. You can try, but when you rush life, you actually get yourself into a lot of problems. So life is about balance. Hi, Jamar Brooms. Life is about creating a balance. Sometimes you have energy for something, sometimes you don't. So I always say try to have balance. Don't spread your energy too thin. Have some kind of balance in your life, because at the end of the day, if you don't have balance, you're gonna be offset. So tonight's topic, I just jot down a few little things on here just to guide my little talk tonight. So I was reading an article, and it was saying that in these COVID times with social distancing and isolation, how many lonely people there are around the globe. And it brought to mind our tendency when we are feeling lonely to rush into relationships. So my topic tonight is learn to manage your feelings. Only fools rush in. This is not for everyone. This topic is not for everyone, because if you are already settled in your relationship and you're already married and you're happily in your relationship, this is not for you. This is for people who are feeling lonely, isolated, wanting or having a desire to have a relationship, but somehow they are always messing up. Something is going wrong. They seem not to be able to have a fulfilling relationship. So I say only fools rush in. And it's not that I'm calling anyone a fool, but the thing is, sometimes when we meet people, we tend to give them too much too fast. So instead of taking our time and getting to know people, we tend to get carried away. So don't get carried away with your feelings when you meet someone. That's one of the lessons that I had to learn. Don't get carried away with your feelings when you meet someone. When you meet someone, don't think in your head that this is the person, that this is the one, this is the right one. Sometimes you might like their vibe. They're coming over strong, and you're all in your feelings. And so you get carried away, and you show them your all, and you give them your all. Don't be too quick. Take time Just like how you take time in your other projects, you take time in your studies, you take time in your job, you do things step by step, the same thing applies to when you meet someone. It's a step by step process. It's gauging that person's reactions to certain things, how they behave, how they treat others, how they treat you. What are they talking about? What are they focused on? Are they focused on you as an individual, or what are they about? You have to learn to gauge their reactions, get to know them, questions, and even when you feel all jittery inside, still take your time, because many times the moment you let your guard down and you tell yourself that you know this person so much and you're gonna trust them, 2 months in, 3 months in, and you tell yourself, okay, no, this person, something hits you and you realize that you never really knew this person. What you are basing the whole thing on was just your whole feelings, your chemistry towards that. All right, sorry about that, guys. I just lost connection for a little while. Right, so sometimes you get carried away by your feelings, and you rush it too fast, and you don't allow your relationship to develop. And because of that, the other person may be turned off by you pushing too quick, and they may get scared and leave before you could even really have a chance. So try not to get carried away. It doesn't mean that you're not gonna have the feelings. It's about managing those feelings, right? The next point, so that was one. Don't get carried away from with your feelings when you meet someone. And so just because you feel good doesn't mean it's good. That's the second point. Just because you feel good about you and that person doesn't mean it is good. Because many times we're not asking the person questions. We are just basing the whatever we have going on our feelings alone. We're not asking the other person how they feel, and we are not really looking at how they feel. We're just basing, if for us, if it feels good, it's good. That doesn't necessarily mean it is good, because we do not really know that person at that point. 2 3 months in, you don't really know that person. So just because it feels good doesn't mean it's good in the long term. If you're looking for something long term, then you cannot just go by how it feels. Because most of the time those feelings are just superficial. They're just infatuation. The real test comes when you are with this person for a period of time and something happens. Are they there for you? Are they there when you need them? Or similarly, are you there when the person needs you? Because so it's vice versa. So if, for me, I'm saying that if you do not want someone and you see they are rushing in with you, they're trying to rush you, have the courage to tell them, listen, I am not, you're going too fast for me, I'm not interested. Just let them know. Find a way to let them know, because I'm saying that at the end of the day, you shouldn't be encouraging somebody to rush into something with you knowing that you do not want them. And many times we are not honest. That's the thing. In many cases, we are not honest with each other because we are fearful of expressing how we really feel about the person. But I always say that honesty is the best policy. So be upfront with each other and let the person know what you are about. Because just because it feels good doesn't mean that it's good in the long run. What is it based on? What is the relationship based on? Is it just infatuation, or do you have common goals, common interests? Do you share certain values? What is it based on? Is it sexually based on sexual feelings, or is there more connection in terms of friendship? So just because it feels good doesn't mean it is good. Only time will tell if the person for you is if the person is for you or you for them. So time tells, but many times we want to rush it because we are so caught up in our feelings. But time alone will tell if that person is for you. Some people might ask how much time. How much time depends on where you're at. It's for I one of the things I realize is that maturity tends to play a lot in terms of what goes on in a relationship. because and the person's readiness to be in that relationship with you. So if they're not mature enough to handle feelings, then that's gonna be a problem. If they're not ready yet, if they're still spreading their wild oats, if they're still behaving like children, then you might need to reconsider. The thing at the end of the day is that you have to know where you're at. And if you are getting to know someone and you realize that they're not where you're at, some people try to change that person and convince them, but that's the worst mistake. If they're not where you're at, the best thing is to just let them go. They are honest enough to tell you, let them go. And if they don't want to tell you, but they are showing you signs and you are convinced in your heart that that person is not where you're at, just let it go. Don't force things. Sometimes you force that and then you end up in a worse situation later on. So take time. The next point is to take time to know people. Protect your heart. Don't just give it away. This is something that I will tell my younger self, but I am here today and I'm good. So I'm telling you now, take time to know people. Protect your heart. Don't just give it away. Just because somebody tells you that they feel a certain way about you does not mean that you should just give your heart away to them. Just because somebody bring you some roses once or twice doesn't mean you should just give your heart away to them. This person may have an agenda. Is it a good agenda? Is it a bad agenda? What is their agenda? Take your time. Give your love in increments. Give your trust and respect in increments. Give it on merit. Is this person, look at how they treat you, treat others. What's their behavior? What are they doing that is deserving for you to give your heart? All right. Sometimes you're going to feel good. It's chemistry, so you're feeling good and it's amazing. But take your time. Take your time, because the minute you let down your guard might be the minute that you just get heartbreak. Sometimes if you rush too soon, you miss out learning things about this person. Sometimes if let's say you meet someone and by 2-3 months you're involved with them and you've given your heart in that space of time, 3 months after you realize that this person is married or this person is already in a relationship, this person may have had children and were denying the fact that they had children, this person may have been involved in some kind of criminal activity, but you would have missed your chance knowing that because you rushed too fast into the relationship. So chemistry is one thing, but also compatibility is something else. So get to know people. Don't just give everything you have to someone. Don't tell them all of your secrets. You meet them and you're telling them everything about you. Don't tell them all of your secrets. Don't tell them how much money you have in the bank. Don't tell them what don't give them all because you must be able to just give these things in increments. It's okay to tell someone maybe one dream of yours. You meet them and you might have a general conversation, a general picture. But it's not okay to tell somebody, okay, you have a life insurance and you don't go into all of these. Don't give all of your intimate details to somebody just because you're feeling good about them. And one of the things we like to do is when we meet people, like especially with women, we still live in this fairy tale thing that we tell ourselves, okay, this is the one. I can tell you now that there are so many the ones. There's not just one person out there for you. If you put your mind to it, you can love anyone. You can meet someone and love them there. So but if a relationship in the past has failed, it does not mean that your chance at love has failed. There is still the one. You can make anyone your one if they have the right standards and principles as you do. You can make anyone your one. Sometimes we like to you put a face to our Prince Charming or our queen, our princess as a man. You put face and shape and everything, and you put certain things that you want, and you see that, and it's all physical. But what about the internal attributes of that person? Think about somebody. What about if you're ill? If you're ill, right? Is this person going to take care of you? Is this person, imagine, you have to do all, this is how life is, no? Imagine yourself if you're ill. Does this person have the qualities to take care of you? Are they patient? Are they compassionate? Or are they selfish? You're going to put yourself and say, okay, I'm going to marry a selfish person. Two twos you regret, because guess what? You knew that the person was selfish in the first place, and you allow yourself to get involved. This person is not going to change basically unless they want to. So you can't be an unselfish person, considerate, and say you are going to marry somebody who is selfish. You have to look at the qualities. Do they mesh with yours? They say opposite attract, but there are certain things that you just cannot swap, like honesty, integrity, compassion, being compassionate, being kind. Those things you do not swap them. All right. What else should I say? In terms of your feelings, sometimes you will feel like the sky is bursting with love and your heart is bubbling over, and you just want to tell the person how you feel. 2 months in, you just want to tell them all, lay it all on the table. Try to manage your emotions. Call a friend, tell the friend. Because sometimes when you give too much too soon, the person runs away from you. Let that person know that you have standards. Show them that you have standards and that you're not easily bought by their little roses or their little smiles or their pretty face or their handsome face. Give your love and your trust in increments. Don't just throw it all away, give them all at the same time and show all of your feelings, because many times when you do that, you are taken for granted. You're taken for granted when you show all of your feelings to someone too quick. They take your feelings for granted because they're telling us about how you could fall so quickly in love with me, and you just knew me, and they take you for granted. Some people just do not know what to do with that kind of feelings. So take your time. I know you want to fall in love, but take your time and don't fall in love. Stand in love. Be conscious about where you're putting your love. Make some determined decisions. Have goals and set standards. And be ready to take back, or to even slow down when you see somebody is just not digging the vibes. You have to know, because sometimes when they're not digging the vibes, we want to try harder to reel them in. But that's, every time we do that, it's just the worst thing to do. So manage your emotions and take back your power. Be patient. Does it, yes, you're gonna feel like, okay, I just wanna call this person up 2 months in and I just wanna say I love you. It may not be the wisest thing. Some people might say, okay, well, I don't wanna hide my feelings. But that's true. And in time you can tell the person how you feel. But do you think that 2 months in is, because really and truly that's not really love? 2 months in, I don't think that's really love. I think that's more infatuation. And so, even if you're feeling like that at that time, call a friend and tell him, hey, I'm just really digging somebody, just talk to somebody else. Don't tell the person, because they might not be able to handle what you are saying, and so they take your feelings for granted. People are like that, as much as they will promise you the world, and they will come in and they will tell you that they will never this and they will never that. We are fickle as human beings. We are very fickle, and from moment to moment our feelings will change. Our feelings change. I always say God is the only one whose feelings do not change for us. He loves us unconditionally, regardless to what we do. But humans are not like this. That if they are with you for a specific agenda, and you are not fulfilling that, they can pull away their feelings. Let's say they are with you for your money, and you're no longer giving them money. They're gonna pull away their feelings. They were probably showing you love because of what they want something from you. So humans are like that. We all look for something in a relationship. But the thing is, what is it that we are looking for? Do we have good intentions behind what we are looking for? Or are we just there for our own selfish benefits? Because if we are there for our own selfish benefits, the minute the other person mess up, we will pull away our love because we were never there for the right things in the first place. So that's something you have to be aware of when you are trying to get to know someone. I am going to answer a few questions. Romal John says he's enjoying my topic. Zola say exactly. Kamara said facts. I see Alan Leach was saying something. Alan Leach said time is the most valuable asset we have, and this is true in every area of life. And that is so true, because if we have a degree, we want to achieve a degree. Let's say even from the day we start school, it takes time for us to finish. And during the time we are going to school, our feelings may change as we mature. And that is why sometimes we will meet someone where we're at, and then later on, if they're not growing, we tend to leave. So we have to be careful with how we get involved with people, because sometimes I always say have a vision as to where you're going, and see if that person fit into where you're going and not where you're at. Because sometimes where you're at, you're not at a good place, and if you choose from that place, the chances are it's not going to last. That's it. That's the reality of it. Sometimes we choose from where we're at, and we do not look at towards the future. We do not look at the person and their potential for the future. And it can go both ways. Some people regret it, and some people, they are happy. Like myself, I am happy that I never really chose anybody like to say I'm gonna marry, because guess what? I probably would have been divorcing now, because people, the thing is where you're choosing from where you're at. Sometimes if you're not at a good place, the choice is bad. And if you let's say if you're choosing somebody because of where they're at, and you're not seeing their potential, it could also be that you miss out as well. Because I there's so many instances where I can relate, have dated. Sometimes people, when I look back at where I was, and then there are men who actually looked at me from where I was, and they didn't see that, they really did not see where I was going. And so they would have judged me with where I'm at. And because of that, they couldn't love me because of where I was at. But now that I'm somewhere else, that I would have had maybe feelings for them then, but now I'm somewhere else. These same men, okay, they're interested, but guess what? I'm somewhere different. I'm at a different place, so I no longer have that interest in you. So that's why it's always good to just take your time in things that in matters of the heart. Take your time. Even if you feel like the person is the one for you, you can't really know that unless you really look at all the things that you're looking for. Especially if you want a long-term relationship, you want to get married, you can't really know if that person is for you within a couple of months. You could say, okay, when you look back, some people, when they look back, they say, okay, I knew I loved you the very first time I saw you. And that's a good, nice sentiment. But is it really true? Maybe not in most instances. It's like we just look at we look at the attribute, we look at sometimes the physical beauty of the person, and we make decisions. But we have to go deeper. Get to know people, have conversations. How many people have real conversations? Like that doesn't involve sexual things. How many people have deep conversations with each other? So the whole thing is to take this dating thing back to how it really should be, where we are having conversations about life, and we are sharing maybe our childhood experiences. We are sharing ideas and thoughts that does not necessarily relate to the relationship itself. Because sometimes we just want to be talking about love, especially as women. Sometimes we just want to talk about love. And then the man doesn't want to talk about love with us in that way, so we think that okay, they're not in love, they're not really feeling it for us. But sometimes people express love differently, so that's something else we have to learn as well. So have conversations, don't just be all into the lovey-dovey thing. Have conversations and find out things about the person. Jamar Brooms, how are you doing? Alright, so guys, this is my little talk for tonight. I'm not going to stay any longer, but I'm gonna say that only fools rush in. So don't just rush into things. Take your time in matters of the heart, because the relationships that you get involved in can make or break you. They can carry down some dark parts, and sometimes we are not fortunate enough to really get back out of it. It depends on how deep we get. It can play with our minds, and it can mess up our future. So with matters of the heart, always take time. Give your love and your trust in increments as you get to know somebody. Do not just give it all away. Do not let people into your lives without force, allow little by little. Don't just let people get in all in, and consume you, and take advantage of you. You are the CEO of your life. You are in control of your life, and so you have to learn to set boundaries, and you have to learn to set standards, and you have to learn to be discerning, and to just look at people, talk with them, and know where they're at, and decide if you want this person in your life, or if they what and if you do, in what position do you want them? Because just because they cannot be intimate with you doesn't mean they can't be your friend. But you have to know, because if you do not know, the person is not gonna look out for your best interest most of the time. So you have to be the one to look out for your best interest. So always figure out what is it that you want. What are some qualities that you want in a partner? And when you know that, then you can proceed. If you're messed up, if you're hurting, if you are brokenhearted, don't go rushing into something else. There was always this saying I hear. I grew up hearing that love heals love, or one relationship heals another. I don't think that is true. Because if you are messed up and you go into something else, and that's a rebound relationship, you're just gonna be messing up yourself, and it's gonna take longer for you to heal. So the best thing, if you are broken hearted, is to take time to heal before you get involved with somebody else. Know what you want, and be brave enough, bold enough to say, this is what I want. And if that's not what you're getting, if you go to the shop to buy chicken, and you ask for chicken wing, and they say they don't have, and they tell you it's chicken back they have, and you don't want chicken wing, do you take the chicken back, or do you just walk out the shop? So it's the same way with your life. Whatever it is that you want, this is what you want, and don't take anything else unless that's what you want. It doesn't mean that there's not room for compromising, but at this stage, you're getting to know someone. Red flags are there. See the red flags. See the red flags, and don't get in, don't rush in. Only fools rush into when they see these red flags and they still rush in. That's only fools rush in. Manage your emotions. Even if you feel a certain way about the person, and the person is not treating you the way you want to be treated, it's time to walk away. Manage your emotions. You've been talking to them, letting them know that this is not okay, and they keep doing what they're doing. Manage your emotions. Walk away. Sometimes we want closure. We want the person to say how they feel and all of that. And I'm saying that you don't necessarily have to have closure. Sometimes the very fact that they do not treat you with respect is enough for you to say, you know what, this is not for me, because I deserve better. I deserve respect. All right. So that's my talk for tonight. Have a great week. And whatever you do, just take care of you first. It's imperative that you take care of you first. And after you've taken care of yourself, that then you can take care of others. So have a great week ahead. And thanks for viewing. Bye.